I want you to imagine this. You wake up to the sound of a horn. It's dawn. You climb the castle tower, and your heart sinks. Across the field, a sea of enemy tents stretches to the horizon. Smoke rises. Siege towers roll forward. And then, you hear it, the first thud of a catapult stone against your walls. This is not a movie. This is how thousands of people in the Middle Ages lived and died, trapped inside walls, waiting for the end. Today, I'm taking you day by day through what really happened during a medieval siege, how it started, what life became inside, and how it ended, usually, in horror. When the enemy army arrived, everything changed in an instant. The gates slammed shut, the drawbridge rose, and suddenly, the outside world was gone. Inside the walls, panic spread faster than fire. Bakers rushed to fill ovens. Soldiers ran to the ramparts. Women carried buckets of water to the towers. The lord of the castle gathered everyone in the courtyard. "This will not break us," he said. But everyone could already see fear in his eyes. Outside, the attackers began building, digging trenches, raising wooden palisades, assembling trebuchets. They weren't in a hurry. Sieges were wars of patience. By the third day, the sound became constant, the deep, rhythmic boom of trebuchets launching stones. Each impact shook the ground like thunder. Walls began to crack. Roofs collapsed. The defenders tried to patch holes with timber and mud, but every repair brought more injuries. Children cried in the dark. The air was thick with dust and fear. The attackers, meanwhile, celebrated each direct hit. They set up campfires, roasted meat, and watched the destruction like spectators at a grim theater. After a week, the food began to run out. Bread was rationed. Meat disappeared. People boiled weeds and leather. Some whispered about surrender. Others swore they'd rather die. The church bells rang every morning, calling for prayer. But faith was tested as much as the walls. Yet, somehow life went on. Children played in the courtyards between bombardments. Lovers met secretly under staircases. Humanity, stubborn and fragile, refused to die. By the second week, the smell became unbearable. With so many people crammed together, disease spread faster than the enemy's arrows. The dead couldn't be buried. There was no space, no time. Flies filled the air. Water turned foul. And fear of the living replaced fear of the enemy. Meanwhile, the attackers cut off all escape routes. No food, no messengers. Every morning, they'd send a single arrow over the walls, carrying a note. Surrender or starve. After nearly 3 weeks, the final blow came. A massive crash, the wall gave way. Dust and screams filled the air as soldiers poured in through the breach. Defenders fought with everything: swords, boiling oil, even stones. Women threw tiles from rooftops. It was chaos. By sunset, the courtyard ran red. The siege was over. But victory, for either side, tasted like ashes. When the battle ended, silence fell. Those who survived looked around and barely recognized their home. The wells were poisoned. The granaries burned. The church doors broken. Sometimes, conquerors spared a few, to rebuild, to tell the story. Other times, they left nothing but ashes. For centuries, castles stood as symbols of power, but behind those stones were stories of fear, faith, and survival. The next time you see a castle, remember, its walls once echoed with screams, prayers, and the sound of falling stones.